Finance Minister's certificate scandal. Nigerians criticise Buhari's silence 3 weeks after several Nigerians have continued to ventilate their anger on President Muhammadu Buhari, his administration, and the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, for choosing to ignore a certificate forgery scandal involving the minister. Some Nigerian newspapers have written editorials in the last 2 weeks, amplifying calls by Nigerians for the government and Mrs. Adeosun to come out clean on the scandal. On June 7, the news broke out that the minister did not participate in the mandatory one-year National Youth Service Corps (NYSC), despite her eligibility for it, but went on to forge an exemption certificate. When the news broke, Nigerians online expressed outrage, demanding Mrs. Adeosun defend herself or step down from her post. Some also asked President Buhari to ease her out if she could not fault the facts contained in the story. However, 3 weeks since the story was published, both the government and Mrs. Adeosun have maintained what one newspaper called audacious contempt for Nigerians on the scandal. Punch newspaper, in an editorial published on Friday, said the silence of Mrs. Adeosun and the government is very disrespectful of the right of Nigerians to know. But while the government apparently hopes ignoring the issues raised will push it to oblivion, it appears Nigerians are not willing to let it pass, going by the incessant demands for probity on the matter. Adeosun has kept an undignified silence about so grave an allegation, and her employers, the federal government, has been woolly-mouthed in its comment on the matter, wrote The Guardian, Nigeria, in a July 25 editorial. In the days since the story was first published, at least 2 former officials of the NYSC, a retired director of mobilization, and a former director general of the Corps, publicly faulted possibility of Mrs. Adeosun obtaining such document from the NYSC. Maharazu Tsiga, who was the NYSC boss as of September 2009, the period Mrs. Adeosun's purported certificate was allegedly issued, revealed that there was no way such a thing could happen, stressing that service is mandatory for anyone who graduated within the required age. In a July 15 editorial, Daily Trust newspaper criticized the minister and the federal government for keeping silent on the issue, warning that attempts to shield Mrs. Adeosun from sack and prosecution will make the government's touted anti-corruption stance to fly out through the window. According to the newspaper, it is very strange indeed that a top government official will keep mute when such a serious allegation is made against her. It is doubly strange that the Buhari presidency, which at the drop of a coin touts integrity and anti-corruption as its defining ethic, has kept mute over this matter for so long. In its Friday editorial, The Punch described as sad that Nigeria is once again making herself a laughingstock before other nations. What everybody expects is that, by now, the government should have set the machinery in motion to carry out a thorough investigation into the entire sordid affair. The newspaper agreed with many other commentators on what the government ought to have done, if the minister herself does not consider it fit to step down for her name to be cleared. The Punch editors wrote that, it is the responsibility of the government to have asked her to do so. The Guardian newspaper summarizes that, with this scandal, decent Nigerians and friends of Nigeria elsewhere lament the loss of a sense of shame and the increasing dearth of integrity in high places in this land. This sense of shame and outrage, the newspaper referred to, is captured in a number of social media posts dotting the online space. A number of commentators are however posting to keep the issue alive, insisting that it should be addressed, rather than sweeping it under the carpet. Kemi Adeosun ought to speak or resign. Really? The silence is disgusting. Contrary comments to this post are disabled, tweeted famous blogger, Japeth Omadua on July 22. Dipo Ewajide, tweeting from the handle @Ogbina Dipo, suggested a resignation note for the minister. I thank President Buhari for the confidence in me and in appointing me to serve as Minister of Finance. Indeed, I have fallen short of what is expected as a public officer. I have tendered my resignation. I apologize to Mr. President and all Nigerians. Kemi Adeosun, an idea. In the last 3 weeks, the Ekiti election, with all its drama, has been won. That's how long Kemi Adeosun and NYSC have been silent, wrote Joe Abah Dr. Jibba on Thursday. On July 18, Budget co-founder, Olusegun Onagbinde, tweeted, "After this Kemi Adeosun saga with no sense word from Buhari or Aso Rock, please don't bring the word integrity near me. Anyone differentiating successive governments with integrity is just a fraudster." Tweeting on the same day, Oluyemi Fasipe, using the handle, reminded his followers about the scandal and other burning issues. Can you people leave Banky W, and let's talk about more serious issues? Point 1. Auntie Kemi Adeosun is yet to explain to us why she went to Oluwole to forge NYSC certificate. Point 2. Leah Sharibu is still not back. 3. Boko Haram are now kidnapping soldiers. 4. Herdsmen killings, so Kemi Adeosun is free to continue her work without bothering to answer the allegations of forgery against her. Yet we are fighting corruption, tweeted Abdul Malik Mahdi, from the handle at Marabat Piers on Friday. Just like on Twitter, a number of Nigerian Facebook users also made posts drawing attention to the unaddressed scandal. Okay, now that we are done with the Kitty and World Cup, shall we talk about Madam Finance Minister's NYSC certificate, wrote Harem Abbas on July 17. You cannot be more Buhari than me, but his silence on Kemi Adeosun certificate scandal is appalling, a journalist, Abbas Yashau, wrote on Saturday. YZ Yao, a civil society figure, took on not only the minister and the government, but also Nigerian lawmakers for looking the other way. She has a sealed mouth. But even more surprising is our senators who screened her have kept their own also sealed. What was it they chopped that they could not summon her to explain this NYSC palaver? Even as they decamped, they cannot say the word Kemi, he wrote.